have arrived in what is the madness of the old town of Delhi in India. And for the next 11 days we're going to be traveling through the famous Golden Triangle route of India, with an added bonus in the middle that makes our trip kinda more of a golden diamond rather than a triangle.
They say when you visit India you either love it or hate it. So let's see what side of the coin we fall on.
To give you some perspective, we are Mark and Nasya, and we've just spent the guts of 2 months travelling around Sri Lanka. Be sure to check out our videos on the mesmeric tropical island of Sri Lanka after watching this video, but for now we find ourselves in the territory of their noisy neighbours to the north. When we were travelling in Sri Lanka, we often ran into people that had just completed some time roaming through India, and the reviews were mixed to say the least. One problem we found popping up regularly was that it was quite difficult to find reliable budget accommodation, especially in Delhi, and that is where our Indian adventures were to begin. I'm not trying to scare you, but we did hear that on booking.com, a lot of the time if you book a hotel, they might not even be real, and if you get in a taxi and ask you to take you to these hotels, the taxi men have this thing with hotels and they'll ring a hotel owner that they know and try to take you there instead of where you actually want to go. Something to look out for. If you stick to our recommendations, you'll be fine, but just have that in mind if you're using booking.com booking in Delhi.
After some extensive research, we landed on a hostel guest house called Bed and Chai, which is situated in the Greater Kailash district of Delhi. We found it to be a great spot to base ourselves and have no problem recommending you to do the same. Another area we were recommended to stay in was the district of Hos Kas. We found the accommodation to be a tad more expensive there, so opted for Greater Kailash, but we are sure Hos Kas would be a good choice too.
So after arriving from Sri Lanka, our first objective was to navigate our way through the bustling streets of Delhi to make our way to the infamous old city centre. Thankfully, the metro system in Delhi is remarkably modern and efficient, so it was actually easy enough to get around. Old Delhi is unique, to put it mildly. From the second you step out of the Chowri Bazaar metro station, the vibrant chaos just takes over. The bustling streets intertwined with low-hanging cables and markets selling everything from wedding dresses to Indian chai gives you a scintillating burst of energy, allowing you to immerse yourself in the distinct and lively atmosphere of this captivating corner of the world.
I absolutely love the diversity of this place. There are so many things to look at, and it's just so interesting and so different, and I just went through beautiful section of clothing with saris and stuff, and unfortunately I can't really wear it in Europe, but it's gorgeous.
We're not sure we've ever been anywhere quite like the streets of Old Delhi. We found a walk around it very enjoyable. We wandered to iconic buildings like Red Fort and Jama Masjid, taking in the atmosphere around every corner. We also tested out some Indian snacks at Haldiram's, but we weren't too sure about the snacks we picked.
After spending 2 days exploring the chaotic city of Delhi and of course eating some delicious food in the process, we just had our first experience of Indian food in India, and that was something else. They brought us so many small things.
It smells like curry. It turned out to be a fancy enough kind of restaurant that we went into. We didn't mean to go to a fancy restaurant.
Yeah. It was time to head to our next destination of our short 10-day trip.
Normally we wouldn't focus too much on the in-between, and right now in the video we would usually start talking about how we got there and start talking about our next adventure. Not this time, because the train journey from Delhi to Agra just simply cannot be skimmed over. So we arrived at Nizamuddin train station, as that is where we were correctly told that is where we get the train from Delhi to Agra. What we didn't know, however, is that the type of ticket you buy is extremely important in India. For the previous 2 months, we had been taking loads of trains in Sri Lanka, and we'd been buying second-class tickets, and there was no problem whatsoever. We were getting on every train and getting seats on every train we went onto, and we just assumed that it would be a similar system here. So we bought tickets for second class, and we quickly noticed that on the ticket we received there was no seat number, no carriage number, no train time, and not even a train number. The reason for this was that, well, we had just bought tickets for the general class. Have you ever seen those never take trains in India videos that surface on TikTok now and again? Well, that's what it was like. With no designated seat numbers, the carriage transformed into what felt like a cattle trailer full of humans. Vendors awkwardly squeezed their way through the crowds, offering ice cream of all things amidst the lively commotion.
The smallest movements became a challenge as the confined space meant there was no room for even shifting our feet to readjust.
In the lead up to our stop, disembarking the train became a bit of an adventure in itself. We had to squirm our suitcases onto our heads and break through a sea of people and breathlessly emerge into the chaotic world of Agra. Dead feet, dead legs, drip sweating off us. It was entirely our fault, but what an experience.
Agra is home to the most famous building on the planet and is the location where we would see our fourth new wonder of the world together, the Taj Mahal.
After some well-needed rest after that train journey, we woke up early and headed straight for the east gate of the iconic landmark. As always, we would recommend going as early as we did because we ended up being near the front of the queue when it opened, and therefore we were one of the first people to see the Taj Mahal that morning.
We just arrived, our first glimpse of Taj Mahal, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
As you've seen, we had a mental train journey yesterday to get here, but now that we're here and the Taj Mahal is behind us, wow. What a stunning place. A lot of people said like this is the kind of place that obviously has a lot of hype, but it's actually one of the touristy places that lives up to the hype, and so far we can definitely understand that.
It will be absolutely no surprise that this is a very busy spot, and if you're like us, you'll want to take a nice picture of yourself with the Taj Mahal for memory, and it's just not as nice when there are tons of other tourists in your shot. If you want to capture shots like this and this, then skip the front part of the mausoleum for now and head over to the right hand side where there will be way less people, and you can take these special shots under these arches like we did.
As for the Taj Mahal itself, well, there is a reason this place is so popular. It is absolutely stunning and mind-blowing to think this white marble stands tall after 400 years. What you doing?
Looking for broken pieces of the marble so that I can help fix it. Definitely not steal it anyway.
For an extra €2 you can enter the mausoleum. Photography, videography is not permitted there, but definitely do it. It's really cheap and it's gorgeous. It's so interesting to see it from inside, and I've never seen any pictures of it, so it was quite mystical what you're gonna see, so it's cool.
We booked our tickets for the Taj Mahal and entrance to the main mausoleum on this website, and we would advise you to do the same. If you don't, you'll have to stand an initial queue to get tickets in the morning and then stand in a different queue to enter the park. Whereas if you buy your tickets online, you can skip the first queue and go straight to the front and be there waiting for the gate. It costs just €15 each for entrance to the Taj Mahal and into the main mausoleum, which is great value, I think, but just be careful, it is closed on Fridays.
The accommodation we picked to see the Taj Mahal was absolutely perfect, only a few minute walk to the entrance gate.
Highly recommend staying in Sunita guest house. Right behind me is a view of the actual Taj Mahal from the rooftop, and apart from the monkeys that are in the roof that we're not sure, I think they might want to take the camera, so we're going to have to be quick here, but yeah, Sunita guest house, the guy was so helpful in planning our next leg of the trip as well, so couldn't recommend it highly enough. And look at this.
Mark and I have always loved Indian food, but homemade food here at this homestay just unbelievable, so good. We also were lucky enough to witness the way Indian people live, so if you want to experience that as well, definitely stay here and not at the hotel.
We are at Bharatpur station en route to our next destination after leaving Agra this morning, and we are going to do something very exciting. We're going to do a safari tomorrow morning, bright and early, and fingers crossed we get to see a tiger.
So subscribe to our channel not to miss out on our next video, part number 2 about the Golden Triangle. Meanwhile, we are really enjoying India, and we are sure if you come here, you're gonna have something to remember, just like us.